Oh, right, yeah. I come across this guy from Who Are These Podcasts. They just constantly terrorize him doing his monologues and that. But people always reference this, so I looked it up. And this is I mean, I say hands down the worst joke. He's probably got worse. Like some of his jokes are just, but this I don't. First off, is understanding it. That's the funny thing on Who Are These Podcasts is like they give him credit when a joke just makes sense. Just listen to this and the punchline. It baffled me, but I think I've cracked it. This guy's like the Riddler, not a comedian. Listen.
Yeah, I'm in kind of a weird mood myself. I was on my way down here. I stopped at a convenience store. I'm waiting in line to pay, and the guy in front of me puts down a dozen donuts, two big bags of Doritos, one of those cheapo 1-gallon bottles of the generic brand fruit punch, and a nasty old rotting banana. And he turns to the clerk and says to him, "My girlfriend just had an operation. She can only eat certain things." I look at him. I look at him and I go, "Yeah, right. What did she have, a bong hit transplant?"
A bong hit. Right. When I first heard that, I was thinking the moldy banana, the brown banana, maybe a bong hit transplant. I was thinking, is he referring to the dirty water at the bottom of a bong and saying the banana resembles that? What did she have? A bong? But then that would be a bong transplant, not a bong hit. A bong hit transplant. Like they, it's baffling. I think. I mean, obviously, he's referring to the food as munchies. Hence the bong hit. But wouldn't it be? Let's listen to that again because I think I've got a better punchline that he could have used.
Yeah, I'm in kind of a weird mood myself. I was on my way down here. I stopped at a convenience store. I'm waiting in line to pay, and the guy in front of me puts down a dozen donuts, two big bags of Doritos, one of those cheapo 1-gallon bottles of the generic brand fruit punch, and a nasty old rotting banana. And he turns to the clerk and says to him, "My girlfriend just had an operation. She can only eat certain things." I look at him. I look at him and I go, "Yeah, right. What did she have, a bong hit transplant?"
You notice as well that the laugh is delayed. That some people laugh because it's just the rhythm. He's got the rhythm down. But a bong. Wouldn't it be a better joke to say my wife just had an operation? She can only eat certain things. Wouldn't it be better to say, what have they got her on? An IV full of weed? Something like that. An IV full of Thai weed? Or something like, because that rhymes with IV. You could get a little joke out of that it rhymes. People like rhymes. But that would make his joke work. I mean, it's still not funny, but at least that I think would make it make sense. That he's got random stuff. Oh, this is my food. This is for my wife. She just had an operation. She can only eat certain food. I thought, yeah, what have you got her on? An IV full of weed? What they got her on? An IV full of weed? That would make more sense than a bong hit transfer. That doesn't make no sense. But this is what these guys' jokes are. Honestly, look up Who Are These Podcasts and just listen to his monologues. It's just like they're like the setup, and it's like the setup and the punchline are to different. Like like Bob Dylan used to do with lyrics, where Bob Dylan would just cut up lines, throw them, and then how they landed, he'd make a song out of it. I think that's how he must do jokes. Or he's got a book full of setups, a book full of punchlines, but they've gone out of order somehow. He's like, yeah. But I think that would make it make sense more. What they got her on? An IV full of weed? But this is the most brutal thing I've ever seen. One, this is not a good thing to do. I don't know whether this is Legion of Skanks or some other of Lewis's podcast, but under no, even a good comedian, it's hard. Like, you can't be funny when someone says just do something of your bit now for us. It's like every comedian's going to fail from that, but this is brutal. Just watch.
So what is the set up the joke? Bong hit transplant.
Well, it's been a while since I've done the bit, so it's going to sound really
It's a little
horrible.
rusty.
I know, something horrible coming out of me. Imagine that, right?
No way.
No way.
I don't believe it.
So the joke is, I'm in a convenience store waiting in line. Someone puts...
Pretend you're at a club right now. We're an audience. You got a microphone in front of you. Don't just say the joke.
Lewis is a piece of shit for this. You know, Lewis, that is not... If someone done that to him, he'd be fuming. Just to go on someone's show and say, pretend you're in a club. It's never a good dynamic. It's never going to... It doesn't matter who you are. Whether you're Dave Chappelle anyway, it doesn't matter.
You know, literally
We
say the
look
joke.
like people that go to a comedy.
Yeah, we are Sean Boland's fucking
We're sitting
A
there,
class.
second row, if there are rows.
Zach literally looks like the person who was in the second row in that Sean Boland show.
So
So
great
he
reference
is
on
he
him.
is helping me.
Focus on him and deliver it.
He looks like...
I go into a convenience store and the guy puts on the counter, I think, a dozen donuts, 1 gallon jug of the cheapo brand fruit punch, a nasty
You should
old
say the
rotten
brand.
brown
I feel like you can.
banana.
Let him do it.
But it'd be more, if you get more specific, it'd be funny. If you said Fago, it would be a funny way to tell the joke. But anyway, go.
No, if they're not paying me to say it, I'm not saying it.
I'll give you
Yeah,
all the
'cause
money in Shanna's tip jar.
$2.
$2 deal. Go say it.
And a nasty old rotten brown stinking banana, and the guy says to the clerk, my girlfriend just had an operation. She can only eat certain things. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, right. What did she have? A bong hit transplant. It was a joke I wrote a long time ago. It was stupid. It got laughs, and I eventually, like most jokes.
It seemed more like it got laughed at. Like I say, some people just laugh because you stopped talking. But there was like a drop, and then people laughed when they realised that it made no sense whatsoever.
Got tired of telling it, and then
Did it
I
make its
stopped.
way onto one of the albums?
I don't know. I
Is
don't.
it on Make
I don't
America
think so.
Innate again or Words of Mass
It may
Destruction?
be on Pitchforks, but I don't.
Gotcha.
I don't.
I like how it calls it
No.
pitchforks.
Now,
It's so
explain to me the thinking behind the joke, because you see all of this. So it's like, it's all this unhealthy food, and then you're
Right.
like, this guy basically saying she can only eat certain foods after an operation. Now, I'm all with you on the premise.
Right.
And then you go, what did she have? A bong hit.
It's the punchline. You're right.
Transplant.
You're right. It's not the
The
premise.
punchline is the issue.
Setup's fine.
That's the only
Bit
issue with
wordy,
the
but
joke.
fine.
Everything else is actually really
The
good.
premise is kind of
I
funny.
love the premise.
The premise is not bad. The punchline
He
is
could
where-
have said
That's the next album.
cheapo
Just an
type
album
of
full of premises.
a cheapo type of soda.
That's what your stand-up
Well, let's
is
just
for.
spitball it here. You go like, oh, this guy puts all this disgusting food. He's got fucking M&Ms and Cheetos and
See, that's where I would go. What does a dirty banana have to
and
do with weed?
anything involving food, Zach is in on it.
Yes, of course.
so this guy puts.
in your fucking fat
Yeah.
face. In your face. No one's safe.
But what does a dirty banana have to do with high people?
Because high people just eat anything.
Okay, well that's not true.
You're trying to. I know what's going on. He's being racist.
I'm
He's
generalizing.
saying brown people. are
But so
the ones who
the
do
bong
drugs.
hit transplant. The
He's
only problem with
being
that
racist.
is that it doesn't make sense. The punch.
Yeah,
bong
once you
hit.
start to break down the punchline, and here's what you don't want people doing
yeah.
is when you tell a punchline, you don't want people to not laugh and think about why they're not laughing.
Right, and that's what I think this punchline does. It makes
Yeah.
people want to leave the club.
Yeah, they go, no, that's not right.
They
This
go,
is an
"That-
album.
something's
taping."
wrong. They go,
Yeah.
something is wrong here, and I should leave and
It's
not,
an
never come
uncomfortable.
back.
It's an uncomfortable feeling.
It's not the move.
So it wasn't. What could have been a better punchline instead of bong hit transplant?
So it's got. Let's say it's a
IV
transplant,
full of weed.
right?
Some
It's
kind of operation, yeah.
some kind of operation.
What did she get her lungs replaced with the bong? That could have worked.
Okay, well that's,
What did she have her lungs replaced with bongs?
That's better than bong hit transplant.
Yeah, I'm spitballing, man.
I would have been like, listen, it's like, what the?
Yeah, even bong transplant would be better. Because bong hit transplant, what is a? It's such a psychedelic joke. That's what he's like, the psychedelic. The bong hit transplant. A bong hit. What can the bong hit? How can you transplant a bong hit?
You know,
Well, I haven't done the bit in 10 years, so clearly I stopped liking
We
it.
could bring it back.
what kind of operation did this bitch have?
It could have went hard.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, she fucking get raped, I bet. I would have liked it.
That could be on your next special. I give you permission to use
I retired
that
from
one.
comedy. I'm just trying to get a job at a Chili's.
My girlford just had an operation. She
Fill-
could only eat
Fill out an
certain
application.
things.
Fill out an application.
I'll
I'll
try.
interview you.
I'll try.
What did she have her lower intestine replaced with a Mexican? Then you'd have to have Mexican foods.
That makes it less. It doesn't make sense, but it's funnier.
It's funnier.
It's funnier.
It's funnier.
A couple funny words in there.
You have her lower intestine replaced with a Mexican?
Remember, like Patrice said, how like Buick is a funnier word than Oldsmobile.
Yes.
Mexican's funnier word than bong hit transplant.
Right. Or like,
Or any other word.
Yeah.
what did she have her lower intestine replaced with a malnourished, child? I don't know. Like what she just had a transplant. What kind of transplant?
My go-to punchline is
What did she have? What did she have her intestine replaced with family court? These are all dumb.
No,
These are dumb. But,
it's just a stock punchline you could just use.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Female circumcision. Just throw it in there.
Female
somehow.
circumcision. Let me
If
tell you right
can
now.
Get female
yes,
circumcision into
he's
that
right.
bit, it would
He's
fucking
right.
crush.
Let's try it with female
Guaranteed.
circumcision.
Go, Timmy.
I walked into this grocery store the other day. I see this guy. He's got Cheetos and M&Ms. He's got the cheapo brand fruit punch. He's got a dirty banana.
Really dirty banana.
And
Filthy
it's a
banana.
filthy banana. And then I
was like,
and
what,
then,
you put that
and
banana
then
up
he
your ass,
says to the
faggot?
clerk, he goes, "My wife just had an operation. She can only eat certain foods." And I said, "An operation? What? Would she have a clitorectomy? Was she circumcised?
Hysterectomy is a fucking great word.
Did they hack off her clit? Did they hack off her clit? Is that why you're buying a dirty banana?
This is why.
Because your wife's clit was hacked off. But again, if you said that, it would be funny.
This is why he gets the gigs dressing up as Meghan McCain.
It's true.
Fuck yeah.
But
That's
he
got
was
a million
booked on
views.
that. He
I
was
know you're
booked on
shitting
that.
on that. It's got a million views. It's got a million views.
Let's give it another caller. We got to wrap the show in a little while. We had all these segments planned, but this is just too good. I like.
That was brutal. But yeah, no, I think because they were sticking with the transplant thing. When the punchline was about weed and her having the munchies. So remove the transplant and I think replace it with an IV. Like I say, that's still a shit punchline, but it makes sense. But yeah, a bong hit transplant. It's but yeah, that's the reaction. Sweet.